Welcome to World Unveiled, your sanctuary of serenity and repose. As dusk walks the world in its gentle embrace, we embark on a tranquil journey to the realm of slumber. A mystical place where the day's news fades into the symphony of the night. This is a haven where worries dissolve into the twilight, and the hustle of life gives way to the soothing lull of evening. Nestle into your safest corner, feel the softness of your surroundings. Yet your eyelids grow heavy with the promise of rest. Surrender to the embrace of the evening's peaceful arms. Allow each breath to carry you deeper into relaxation as the sail of nightfall whispers secrets of tranquility and calm. In these precious moments, release the grip of daytime's flurry. Let go of the tangles of thoughts, the list of tasks, a web of concerns that spun throughout your day. Welcome instead the serene passage that lies ahead, a journey through starlit paths and moonlit dreams. Now, dear listener, as you sink deeper into this blissful state, let the night enfold you in its loving embrace. Rest well, dream sweetly, and remember that in this world unveiled, you are safe, you are at peace, and you are home. The tides of change. Leaving the town and its vibrant life behind, Tenzin ventured into a region that was a stark contrast to the places he had recently traversed. The landscape here was characterized by its vast, open plains on rolling hills. A region where the wind whispered stories it turned into sensation. It was in this setting that Tenzin began to contemplate the next phase of his journey, understanding and embracing the tides of change. As he walked through the expanse of Chuan, the constant wind was his early companion, a metaphor for the ever-present nature of life. Tenzin thought about the impermanent he had witnessed in his travels, the changing seasons, the ebb and flow of daily life and the transformations. One afternoon, as he crossed a particularly desolate stretch of the plains, Tenzin encountered a group of nomads. They were a people who lived in harmony with the land, moving with the seasons, their lives a testament to adaptability and resilience. Tenzin was intrigued by their way of life and accepted their invitation to camp with them for the night. Around the campfire, the nomads shared stories of their travels, of the challenges they faced, and the freedom they found in their ever-changing lifestyle. Tenzin listened, fascinated by their deep connection to the land and their acceptance of change as a natural part of life. He realized that there was much to learn from their approach to life, their ability to embrace change without fear. The experience with the nomads was a turning point for Tenzin. It challenged him to reevaluate his own perceptions of change and uncertainty. He began to see a change not as something to be feared or resisted, but as an essential and enriching part of life. As Tenzin continued his journey through the plains, he reflected on the teachings of Buddhism about impermanence. He understood the acceptance of change was key to inner peace and liberation from suffering. This acceptance was not a passive resignation, but an active engagement with life, a willingness to flame with its changing tides. One evening, Tenzin climbed a small hill to watch the sunset. As he sat there, the sky turned into a canvas of vibrant colors, and the vastness of the landscape stretched out before him. The moment was a powerful reminder of the beauty and transience of life. Just at the sunset, every moment was fleeting, never to be repeated in exactly the same way. That night, under a blanket of stars, Tenzin contemplated the tides of change in his own life. He thought about his decision to leave the monastery, the experiences he had had since then, and the person he was becoming. He realized that his journey was not just about seeking enlightenment, but also about learning to navigate the currents of life, embracing change as an interim progress. Tenzin fell asleep with a sense of acceptance and a newfound appreciation for the impermanent nature of existence. He was learning to ride the tides of change, understanding that each wave brought with it new experiences, challenged opportunities. And next day, Tenzin continued his journey across the expansive plains, the landscape aligned to a constant interplay of light and shadow as clouds tossed past the sky. The vastness of the open land was a stark reminder of the infinite possibilities that lay before him, each path a different trajectory in the journey of life. As he walked, Tenzin pondered on the nature of decisions, on their impact on the course of one's life. He reflected on the significant choices he had made, leaving his family, joining monastery, and embarking on this pilgrimage. Each decision had set him on a path that was both challenging and enriching, shaping him in ways he could not have foreseen. Tenzin's contemplation was interrupted when he came upon a river, its waters flowing steadily towards the unknown. The river was wide, and the current strong, requiring Tenzin to find a way to cross. He noticed a group of villagers working to bear the bridge. The efforts a collective endeavor to overcome the obstacle the river presented. Tenzin offered to help, and the villagers welcomed his assistance. Working together, they gathered materials, shared ideas, and slowly made progress on the construction of the bridge. The task was arduous, but the sense of communal effort and purpose was invigorating. Through this experience, Tenzin learned a valuable lesson about collaboration and the power of collective action. He saw how each individual's effort contributed to a greater goal, how working together could achieve what might seem impossible alone. This lesson was a reflection of the internal and divineness of our life. The idea that at every house without After several hours, a bridge was complete, and Tenzin expressed his gratitude to the villagers for allowing him to prepare the river. As he crossed the newly built bridge, he felt a sense of accomplishment, a connection with the people he had worked with. Continuing his journey, Tenzin realized that life was like the river. He had just crossed it at its currents, its obstacles, and its bridges. Each person's journey was a crossing of rivers, a navigation of the changes and challenges that life presented. As the sun began to set, casting a golden light over the plains, Tenzin found a quiet spot to camp for the night. He reflected on the events of the day, the lessons learned from the river and the bridge. He understood that embracing change was not just about accepting, but engaging, and also about actively engaging with us. That night, as Tenzin gazed up at the starry sky, he felt a deep sense of peace and clarity. The journey he was on was teaching him to embrace the tides of change, to see the opportunities in every challenge, and to understand that every is death. Rising with the dawn, Tenzin continued his journey across the changing landscapes. The rolling hills gradually gave way to a more rugged terrain, dotted with rocky rocks and sparse vegetation. The stark beauty of this environment was a new canvas for change and adaptability. As he navigated this new terrain, Tenzin encountered a solitary shepherd tending to his flock. The shepherd, an elderly man with a weathered face and kind eyes, greeted Tenzin warmly. He spoke of his life on these lands, how he had witnessed the seasons change the land of him, and how he used to come against his Tenzin spent the day with the shepherd, walking alongside him in the flock, observing the subtle art of shepherding. He saw in the shepherd a deep understanding of the land and the animals, a knowledge that was intuitive, born of years of observation and experience. The shepherd shared his philosophy of life. Change is the only constant. We must flow with it, like water, adapting to the contours of the land. These words resonated with Tenzin, echoing his own thoughts on the impermanence and fluidity of life. As the day drew to a close, Tenzin thanked the shepherd for his hospitality and wisdom. The encounter had provided a valuable perspective on living in harmony with change, embracing the ebb and flow of life with grace and resilience. Continuing his journey, Tenzin mulled over the concept of resilience, the ability to withstand and adapt to the changes and challenges of life. He thought about the various forms of resilience he had witnessed in the nomads who moved with the seasons and the villagers, beneath the shepherd tending to his flock. Each was a testament to the human spirit's capacity to adapt and thrive in the face of change. The following day brought Tenzin to the edge of a dense forest, a sharp contrast to the open plains he had traversed. The forest was a world of its own, teeming with life and a myriad of sounds. The transition from the open plains to the enclosed canopy of the forest was yet another embodiment of the tides of change Tenzin was exploring. In the forest, Tenzin found himself surrounded by a different set of challenges. The path was less visible, the terrain uneven, and the sense of direction more reliant on instinct and observation. He navigated through the forest with mindfulness, each step a careful negotiation with the natural world. This journey through the forest tested Tenzin's adaptability and presence of mind. He had to be fully aware of his surroundings, attuned to the subtle signs of nature, the direction of the wind, the patterns of the animal tracks, and the sounds of the forest. As night fell, Tenzin made camp in a small clearing. The sounds of the forest at night were a symphony of natural rhythms, from the rustling of leaves to the distant calls of nocturnal animals. Lying in his tent, Tenzin reflected on the day's journey. He realized that his journey through the forest was a metaphor for navigating the complexities and uncertainties of life. It required awareness, adaptability, and a trust in one's instincts. These are the skills that helped one navigate the tides of change, turn challenges into opportunities for growth and learning. Tenzin drifted off to sleep with a sense of accomplishment and a deeper understanding of his journey. He was learning to embrace the tides of change, not just as an external reality, but as an integral part of his inner growth and spiritual evolution. The following morning, Tenzin awoke to the forest symphony, a gentle reminder of nature's ongoing dialogue. As he continued his journey through the thickening woods, the forest seemed to envelop him, each tree and shrub a part of a larger living entity. The diversity of the forest was astonishing, each area revealing different species of flora and fauna, a constant showcase of nature's adaptability. Tenzin, his path, led him to a river that cut through the forest. The river, wide and swift, was a physical embodiment of change, its waters a testament to the relentless flow of time and nature. He followed the river's course, contemplating its significance in the larger scheme of life. The river was a source of life, a provider for the creatures and plants along its banks, and a symbol of the continuous cycle of existence. As he walked alongside the river, Tenzin observed how the landscape changed with the river's flow. The vegetation was lush and varied near the water, teeming with life and vitality. This observation led Tenzin to reflect on the concept of nourishment, not just physical sustenance, but also spiritual and a nourishment. Just as the river nourished the wind, his journey nourished his soul, providing a continuous flow of experiences and insights. Late in the afternoon, Tenzin came upon a small village nestled by the riverbank. The village was a harmonious blend of nature and human habitation. The houses built with respect for the surrounding environment. The villagers, aware of Tenzin's monastic background, welcomed him with open hearts, curious about his journey and eager to share their own stories. Tenzin spent the evening with the villagers, participating in their daily activities. She helped with fishing, joined in the preparation of the evening meal, and shared stories around a communal fire. The experience was enriching, providing Tenzin with a deeper understanding of the symbiotic relationship between humans and nature. The villagers spoke of the river with reverence, describing it as their lifeline. They shared stories of how the river had shaped their history, brought challenges during floods, and provided abundance. Their lives were a testament to the resilience and adaptability Tenzin had been contemplating, their existence finely attuned to the rhythms of the natural world. That night, as Tenzin lay in a hut provided by the villagers, he thought about the lessons of the day. The river in the village had shown him in many facets of change its power to create and sustain life, to challenge and to provide. He realized that understanding and adapting to change was not only about accepting its inevitability, but also about recognizing renewal. Tenzin, through the forest and along the river, had been a microcosm of life's broader journey. It had taught him the importance of flow, the ability to move with change, to learn from it, and to be nourished by it. As he drifted off to sleep, Tenzin felt a deep sense of connection with the world around him. He was more attuned to the rhythms of nature and more aware of his role in the larger tapestry of life. The journey was shaping him, not just as a seeker of enlightenment, but as a participant in the ever-flowing river of existence. With the morning light filtering through the trees, Tenzin bid farewell to the villagers, carrying with him gleam from their harmonious way of life. His path numb a friendly waver, leading him into a landscape that gradually shifted from the lush greenery of the riverbanks to a more arid, open terrain. This change in the environment presented new challenges. The land here was dry, and less forgiving, with sparse vegetation and a harsher climate. Tenzin rocked under the relentless sun, feeling the intensity of its heat and the dryness of the air. The conditions tested his physical endurance and resilience, reminding him that change often requires adaptation and strength. As he traversed this arid landscape, Tenzin thought about the cycles of nature, periods of abundance followed by times of scarcity, seasons of rest. He saw parallels between these natural cycles and the cycles of human life, with its highs and lows, joys and sorrows. During his journey, Tenzin came across a caravan of traders making their way across the arid plains. They traveled with camels. These hardy animals well adapted to the challenging conditions. The traders welcomed Tenzin, offering him water and a place among them as they journeyed together. Traveling with the caravan, Tenzin learned about the traders' distances, the goods they traded, and the diverse people they encountered. The traders were storytellers, each tale a window into different cultures and experiences. Their adaptability, resourcefulness, and open-mindedness were qualities that Tenzin admired. The time spent with the caravan was a lesson in resilience and the richness of human experience. It was a reminder that change often brought with it new opportunities, new connections, and new perspectives. The traders, with their ever-changing routes and encounters, indeed the dynamic flow of life. As the caravan set camp for the night, Tenzin sat under the stars, reflecting on the day's journey. The stark beauty of the arid landscape, the resilience of the traders, and the camaraderie around the campfire were all facets of the diverse tapestry of life. Tenzin realized that his spiritual journey was not just about seeking solitude and introspection, but also about embracing the world in all its diversity. The lessons learned from the land and its people were shaping his understanding of change and adaptation, enriching his journey towards enlightenment. That night, as he lay in his tent, Tenzin felt a profound sense of gratitude for the journey he was on. Each step, each encounter, was a lesson in the art of living, a guide to navigating the tides of change with grace and wisdom. As Tenzin parted ways with the caravan, he ventured into a region where rolling hills slowly transformed into formidable mountains. The change in landscape was gradual, but unmistakable, each step taking him higher, each breath feeling cooler and sharper. This shift in the environment was a physical manifestation of the changes he had been experiencing internally, a parallel to his evolving journey. Climbing the rugged terrain, Tenzin felt the solitude of the mountains envelop him. The air was thinner, the environment more demanding. He realized that each phase of his journey presented its own set of challenges and rewards, shaping his resilience and understanding. In these mountainous heights, Tenzin encountered a group of monks on a pilgrimage. They were journeying to a sacred site in the mountains, a place of retreat and spiritual significance. The monks, upon learning of Tenzin's own pilgrimage, invited him to join them. Traveling with the monks, Tenzin felt a sense of camaraderie and shared purpose. Their journey was marked by periods of silence, prayer, and reflection. The discipline and devotion of the monks were inspiring, reminding Tenzin of his roots in the monastery. a monk spoke of the quest for inner peace and enlightenment, their words echoing Tenzin's own aspirations. They discussed the nature of the mind, the illusions that trap it, and the practices that liberate it. These conversations were enriching, offering Tenzin new insights and reaffirming his commitment to his spiritual. As they neared the sacred site, the path became steeper and more treacherous. The physical challenge of the climb was a test of endurance, both physical and mental. Tenzin drew upon his inner strength, each step a meditation in perseverance and focus. Reaching the sacred site, the group was greeted with a breathtaking view. The site, a small monastery nestled in a secluded mountain valley, was a haven of peace and serenity. The monks welcomed them with warmth and hospitality, sharing their space and wisdom. The time spent at the sacred site was a period of deep reflection. He participated in the rituals and meditations, feeling a profound connection to the spiritual energy of the place. The experience was a reaffirmation of his faith and a deepening of his understanding of the spiritual journey. As Tenzin prepared to leave the sacred site, he felt a renewed sense of purpose and clarity. The journey with the monks had been a reminder of the spiritual discipline and devotion that underpinned his quest for enlightenment. It was a confirmation that the path he was on was one of continuous learning and transformation. Descending from the mountains, Tenzin reflected on the many forms change had taken in his journey, the shifting landscapes, the diverse people he had met. He understood that change was not just an external phenomenon, but an integral part of the spiritual journey, a catalyst for growth and understanding. With each step, Tenzin felt more in tune with the rhythms of life, more aware of the constant flux of existence. He was learning to embrace the tides of change, find him in them, the lessons that were shaping his path to enlightenment. Descending from the mountains, Tenzin entered a landscape where lush forests gradually gave way to a wide, tranquil lake. The lake, with its still waters reflecting the sky, was a stark contrast to the dynamic flow of the river he had encountered earlier. The serene beauty offered Tenzin a different perspective on change, one that emphasized stillness and reflection. As he walked along the lake's edge, Tenzin contemplated the dual nature of change. He thought about how change could be tumultuous like a river, constantly moving and reshaping the landscape, that it could also be selective. This duality was a reflection of life itself, where periods of rapid change were often followed by times of quiet growth and introspection. Tenzin's path led him to a small village by the lake, a community whose life was intertwined with the waters. The villagers were fishermen, their lives rhythmically aligned with the lake's cycles. Tenzin was welcomed by the villagers, who were eager to share their way of life with him. Spending a few days with the fishermen, Tenzin learned the art of fishing, the patience it acquired, and the deep respect the villagers had for the lake. They spoke of the lake as a living entity, a provider and protector whose well-being was essential to their own. The relationship between the villagers and the lake was a powerful example of living in harmony with nature, respecting and adapting to its cycles. One evening, as Tenzin sat by the lake, he watched the sunset paint the waters with hues of gold and crimson. A moment was a meditation in itself, a quiet appreciation of the beauty and tranquility of nature. Tenzin realized that stillness was as much a part of change as movement. The lake, with its calm surface, was constantly changing beneath, teeming with life, shaped by the elements and affected by the seasons. His realization brought a new understanding of balance, the balance between action and stillness, between making waves and being reflective. Tenzin understood her journey required both the courage to dive into the currents of change and the wisdom to find stillness within the flow. As he prepared to leave the village, Tenzin felt grateful for the lessons he had learned by the lake. The experiences with the villagers had deepened his understanding of living in harmony with nature and the importance of finding moments of stillness amidst life's changes. Continuing his journey, Tenzin carried with him the serene spirit of the lake. He felt more equipped to navigate the tides of change, understanding that each phase of life, whether tumultuous or tranquil, was an opportunity for growth. And the journey ahead was uncertain, but Tenzin was ready to embrace it with a heart open to the lessons it would bring. He was learning to flow with the tides of change, finding in the rhythm of life and the path to enlightenment. Leaving the tranquility of the lake village behind, Tenzin set out once again, his path leading him toward a region marked by its ancient ruins and historical significance. As he approached this new landscape, he felt as though he was walking through the pages of history, each step a journey through time. The ruins were remnants of a good civilization, the distinct structures standing, the silent witnesses to the passage of time. Tenzin walked among these relics, touched by the sense of continuity and change they represented. The firm columns, weathered statues, and fragmented wings were a testament to the incarnate age, yet they also spoke of the enduring knowledge. Exploring the ruins, Tenzin contemplated the rise and fall of civilizations, the ebb and flow of human history. He thought about the countless lives that had unfolded in this place, the dreams, struggles, and achievements that had once filled these now silent spaces. It was a powerful reminder of the transient nature of existence and the cyclical patterns of history. In this place of ancient echoes, Tenzin found a secluded spot to meditate. Surrounded by the remnants of the past, he focused his thoughts on the present moment, finding a deep sense of peace amidst the ruins. The meditation was a bridge between the past and the present, a connection to the timeless essence of life. As the sun began to set, casting a golden light over the ruins, Tenzin felt a profound connection to the generations that had come before him. He realized that change was not only a personal experience, but also a universal one, shared across time and space. Revelings with their stories of glory and decline were a reminder that change was an integral part of the human story. That night, as Tenzin camped amidst the ruins, he reflected on the lessons of the day. He understood that his journey was part of a larger narrative, a continuation of the ancient quest for understanding and meaning. The tides of change that had shaped these ruins were the same tides that shaped his own life and the lives of all beings. Tenzin fell asleep under the stars, surrounded by the whispers of the past. He felt a deep sense of humility and awe of his small, trace in the grand tapestry of time. The journey through the ruins had been a journey through the cycles of change, a journey that had deepened his understanding of the impermanent, yet interconnected nature of unravels. As dawn broke the next day, Tenzin continued his journey, carrying with him the wisdom of the ruins. He was ready to embrace the next chapter of his journey, understanding that the tides of change were ever present, shaping the course of his path and the evolution of his spirit.